Violet, honey, be careful. Your mic is on.
I turned it off.
No, it's on.
Oh.
It's on a different setting, that's all.
Hello, everybody.
We are now. I'm going to remind everybody of that.
Violet, you're so cute.
I am not going to mute everyone.
Smaller.
All right, everyone should now be muted. We're going to begin the service in just a couple seconds. So let's all take a moment. Let's place ourselves into Shabbat. Let's realize we've gathered together. We have over 55 screens going tonight. Why do we have so many screens going on Shabbat? Because we got a lot going on tonight. Yes, we're focusing on Veterans Day, but we're also, well, as is our tradition, we're having our religious school students, our families, join us and help lead this service. So we're honoring veterans. We have religious school students involved. We're remembering that we can't just live in this moment, which is very easy to do right now. We have to think about the past sacrifices of others, the efforts of others, and how they got us to this day, and how each one of us has to make an effort to make sure the world stays safe and moves forward into tomorrow. And tonight will be focused on veterans, but so many of us do so many things to help push that world forward. But our veterans, I've had such an honor this week because I've talked to so many of them. I've recorded so many of them. And later tonight, you're going to see a short video where they get to share some of their thoughts with all of us. So we're going to begin right now with Hinei Ma Tov. Hinei Ma Tov is found on page 644 of your prayer book. As you know, we don't put a shared prayer book up anymore because we like to see one another. We like to see who's singing or who is talking. But there is a free prayer book you can use, and we might have Karen or someone else who has access to it throw it into the chat window. But if not, just sing along for what you know. All right? Here we go. And Karen's telling me she doesn't see our stream on Facebook. That's interesting. Well, Karen, I know it said we are streaming. Give me one more second. Right now it's saying we are streaming, so I don't know what to tell you. All right, I'm going to go to Cantor, who is also with Shai in the sanctuary in preparation for some special musical events they're thinking about providing on Shabbat. Cantor? I have a strange feeling our Cantor is not yet a co-host. So let me find her and Shai, and that way they can turn on their speaker. One of the other co-hosts can also look for them. I see it right now. More. Sorry, they were not co-hosts. They are now co-hosts, so they can now unmute themselves.
There we go.
Great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day. Hine ma tov u'manayim sisters to hang out on this lovely day. How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day. How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this lovely day. How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day. Yo, 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 yo. Sisters to hang out on this day.
I'm getting a lot of because I know people are having some internet problems tonight. So do the best you can. Be here as long as you can and keep signing back in. So November 11th. Why November 11th is the date selected to celebrate Veterans Day? Well, the Great War, that was World War I's name before World War II, ended on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918, when an armistice agreement was signed. And then in November 1919, President Wilson proclaimed November 11th as the first commemoration of Armistice Day with the following words. To us in America, the reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in this country's service and with gratitude for the victory, both because of the thing from which it has freed us and because the opportunity it has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice and the councils of the nations. Go forward 20 years, 1938, and Armistice Day became Veterans Day. So tonight we honor our veterans. I'm going to change my screen view right now, and I'm going to look at everybody. If you could put everyone in gallery. And if you are a veteran, can you wave like this right now so we can all see the veterans who are waving at us? And let's all write thank you right now in the chat window. Thank you for your service to all of the veterans who we are waving at, because they have done so much for our country and our community. We continue with Shalom Aleichem, found on page 142. Shalom Aleichem welcomes angels, and maybe we should consider all of our veterans our angels for tonight. Cantor.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Yasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem Leshalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu,
So now we go and we think about the first Jew who defended this land. And this first Jew defended a land that was not yet called the United States of America. Because we have Asher Levy. Back in 1654, he was one of the leaders of the 23 Jews who came to New Amsterdam from Recife, Brazil, on the St. Catherine. And once allowed into New Amsterdam, he was in a constant battle with the leader of the area, Peter Stuyvesant. Now, Stuyvesant wasn't enamored with the Jewish people. In actuality, he was an anti-Semite. And he decided that Jews should not be permitted to stand guard as soldiers. But those who did not participate in protecting the region, they had to pay a higher monthly tax. This didn't sit well with Levy. He wanted the same freedoms of rights as the non-Jews, and of course he didn't want to have to pay more money by not having these rights. He wanted to stand guard. He wanted to be a soldier for the defense of his community, just like everybody else. So he appealed to the town council, who told him if he didn't like it, he could leave. But there was nowhere to leave to. So he took his challenge to the next level. He petitioned the Dutch West India Trading Company, the company that controlled the region. He wrote them and they wrote back, and they stated that Stuyvesant needed to enjoy the same liberty that is granted them in this country. In other words, Levy won his fight and became the first Jew to defend, this community. And perhaps it was because the Dutch West Indian Trading Company had many Jewish shareholders that they didn't want to anger. We aren't sure what their motivation was, but whatever it was, it allowed us to step forward as Jews to say we want to defend this land. We now turn to page 138 for L'chad Odi, and we want to have an angel, a Shabbat bride, step into our lives, to step up, to be present. And that's what we're going to be singing about. Page 138, we'll be doing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Cantor, rising of
לחדותי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. 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 שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל מיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתהילה. לחדותי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחדותי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לחדותי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחדותי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לחדותי לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Please rise and face the door if you are able. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
So now we move forward with our candle lighting. Tonight, I'm going to ask the Deculus family, Cynthia and BJ, and Julian and Danielle, if they're there, I haven't seen their screen yet, to light our candles. Cynthia and BJ, I'm going to mute myself, and when I do start talking, and you should appear on the screen.
We're getting some feedback. Oh, I unmuted the wrong one.
You will need to unmute yourselves.
Rabbi, please unmute the one that says Cynthia.
Okay. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can. We can hear you.
Okay, great. Okay, sorry about that, folks. We have two things going here. So Shabbat Shalom. And unlike many of you, we don't have candlesticks that were passed down through the generations because I'm the youngest of three girls, and that's how it goes in my family. So, but we're very happy to share our more modern candlesticks with you tonight.
We should put them in the view.
Trying to put them in view. Okay.
Light it.
Okay, go ahead.
La 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר וציוונו להדליק נר וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Can I get a thumbs up if you can hear me, by the way? Okay, superb, excellent. Well, I want to start by wishing our veterans especially, and all of our congregants a really joyous Shabbat Shalom. As you can see, our religious school is here in full force to show you how much we appreciate your service. I see so many families here tonight. So welcome to all. Veterans, our students have prepared prayers and readings for you tonight. And at Kol Tikva, every time we get the privilege to teach our students, they really fill our hearts with just pure nachas. And I hope they do the same for you tonight. So please bear with us as we attempt to pull this off live, going window to window. And I'd like to begin with Simone. Simone, I think you're on your phone there. If you can unmute and do the first reading to introduce us.
Should I start?
Absolutely.
Okay. What does it mean to stand? The act of standing shows honor and respect. When our veterans were asked to defend our nation, they stood at attention and did what was asked by their officers and their nation. They showed respect to our country and honored it by their actions. As our veterans answered the call and stood up to defend our country, so too do we now answer the call and stand up in prayer before the one Adonai our God.
Beautiful, Simone. Thank you for that reading. I'd like to now invite Lainey to please lead us as we all rise, if we are able, for the Baruch Hu.
Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed.
Yasher Koach, Lainey, absolutely beautiful. May all be seated as we have another reading before the Shema. Our educator, Samantha, my co-educator, will fill in for us a nice reading before the Shema.
The best-known Jewish patriot of the Revolutionary War was Chaim Salomon, settling in New York City in 1772. Salomon became a successful merchant and a supporter of the American independence. He was in effect known as the financier of the Revolutionary War. During the war, he used his profits in business to buy food and arms for the armies of General Washington and other patriots. For this, he was arrested by the British in New York City. Salomon was freed when the British learned that he spoke fluent German. They made him an interpreter for the German merchants fighting in the British Army. Salomon used the opportunity to persuade the mercenaries to switch to the American side. For this, the British charged him as a spy, which he was then sentenced to death. But he escaped and made his way to Philadelphia, where he raised money in the new American government and army. His risk-taking for the patriot effort helped establish the new nation.
Thanks so much, Samantha. We have one more reading to be done by Ian before we enter the Shema. Ian, I'm going to try to unmute you here. Okay, I'm going to click it one more time. Here we go. All right.
Please remain standing. In the Civil War, Jews responded to the call of duty, whether it be from North or the South, and they proved that they could be good soldiers, as well as heroes in fighting for their country. 6 Jews received the Medal of Honor. One was Benjamin Levy, a drummer boy who rescued 2 flags which were dropped by the wounded bearers in the Battle of Charles City Crossroads. He carried them throughout the battle, stopping the colors from being taken by the Confederate soldiers. He was awarded the Medal of Honor. While we are proud of the service of those Jews who served in the Civil War, we are glad to say that today we are one nation under God. We join in the Shema.
Asher Koach, Ian. Powerful words. We now all rise for the Shema to be led by our student Kylie, who happens to be in the same room as Lainey. Very musical room there.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Beautiful, Kylie. I'm going to ask you to remain at attention there because you'll be leading us in the Via Hafta shortly. But first, we have an introductory reading to the Via Hafta by Lev.
In the first paragraph of the Shema and Via Hafta, we each pledge allegiance to the one God, sovereign of the universe, to whose authority we are all answerable. In the second paragraph, we accept the responsibility of the mitzvah as a people. There is a well-known rabbinic law, Dina de Malhuta Dina. The law of the land in which you live shall be your law. As Jewish Americans, we accept the laws of our tradition and of our nation. We proudly share the responsibility in protecting our country.
Very strong reading. Thank you so much, Lev, for that. And now we continue the reading of the Shema with the words of Via Hafta. We actually have 3 students to lead us through that this evening. We're going to begin with Kylie and then Jonah. Kylie and then Jonah and then Eliza. So Kylie, please lead us. Thank you.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך.
Jonah, I'm looking for you if you can unmute there.
Hello, hold on. ושיננתם לפניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Excellent. Jonah and Eliza.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, הייתם קדושים לאלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיהם, אשר הוצאתי אתם מארץ מצרים, להיות להם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיהם.
Yashar Koach to our three readers. Thank you so much. Beautiful chanting. On to a reading by our student Ezra.
When Mark Twain wrote that American Jews didn't serve and fight in the Civil War, 78 Jewish veterans of the Union Army met to reject these lies by organizing the Hebrew Union Veterans, now called the Jewish War Veterans of the USA. These veterans had a right to be angry. More than 6,000 Jews served in the Union Army, many of whom were killed or wounded.
Excellent reading, Ezra. And that is the reading is to continue with our student Nathan.
These 78 Civil War veterans pledged to maintain a true allegiance to the United States, to combat anti-Semitism and hate in any form, to protect Jews unjustly targeted, to assist fellow soldiers and families in need of help, to preserve the records of Jewish patriots, and to honor the memories and protect the graves of heroic Jewish veterans.
Thank you, Nathan. Well read. And we have one student who unfortunately fell ill tonight. So we're going to wish her refuah shlema and transition to our Cantor Noah to lead us in Micha Mocha, the Song of the Sea.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
On behalf of Sam and Samantha and Noah and the entire Kol Tikva staff, I want to say to all of our religious school students who participated tonight, Yasher Koach. And if you haven't yet wrote a Yasher Koach in the window to all these kids, please do, because in the past we pre-recorded them. It makes it less nerve-wracking. It's very nervous to get onto a Zoom Live and to sing and to read. They did a great job. I'm so impressed with their bravery. So now we're going to move on to the Misha Berach prayer. We find the Misha Berach on page 371. And amidst saying Yasher Koach to the kids, I'm going to read names, and if I'm missing a name from the Misha Berach list, I want you to put it into the chat window. So we say Misha Berach for those who are ill of mind, body, spirit. On the Kol Tikva list tonight, Louise Adhami, Nancy Braun, Bella Kane, Mary May Siafi, Jackson Dexter, Annette Diamond, Marissa Dupuis, Sadie Finale, Neil Friedman, Peggy Holm, Dan Isa Kleiner, Posey Kramer, Stan Lieber, Georgia Levenberg, Joe Luttrell, Ruben and Maheen Manavi, Jeff McCoy, Chris Nelson, Katya Nipom, Bruce Newborn, Joe Norden, Marlene Rapport, Brady Rifkin, Milt Schuffman, Jerry Shapiro, Phyllis Stolaroff, Andrea Domi Vargas, Renee Weiss, Ed Wire, Morden Yezzeroff, Jack Jastro, and of course, everyone battling COVID-19. And also because of all my conversations in the past week, those who will still suffer physical and emotional challenges due to their military service. Additional names, which I'm going to have a hard time finding because we're mixing them up a little bit. So hopefully I'll get them all. If not, I apologize. Peggy Holm, Angela W., Enid Basowitz, Lindsay Freed, Ruth Forrester, Janice Cull, Cindy Emanuel, Kobe Haskell, Sophie Philbin, Roger Henn, Sophie P., and all those we hold in our hearts. Misha Barak Avatenu Vimatenu, may God give all of those named tonight, all those that we love and care for, a refuah shlema, a complete and full healing. Cantor.
מי שברך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. מי שברך אמותינו מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say
We're going to now turn to page 164 in our prayer books for the Amidah. Tonight, we're going to be doing Adonai Sifatai Tiftach and the first paragraph of the Amidah. This is what we do right now in religious school. We start with the first paragraph, and then after a few months, we add the second paragraph every year, so the children begin to learn it. So why don't we do what we're doing in religious school right now, which is just the first paragraph, and then a few seconds of silence for silent prayer, for reflection, for blessing something that needs to be blessed. So we're going to rise right now, and we're going to do Adonai Sifatai Tiftach and that first paragraph of the Amidah, and then silent prayer.
Adonai Sifatai Tiftach ufi agid teilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Cantor, you can do a vote for Imahot, please.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך חוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם שרה.
We now take a few seconds for silent reflection, please. And as we teach our children, when you're done with your silent reflection, you take 3 steps backwards, you bow to the left, to the right, to the center, and then you take your seat. And now I know we have a beautiful piece by our children, a concluding song for the Amidah. Wow, that was amazing. Truly beautiful. I can't thank our religious school students enough. I can't thank Shai enough for mixing them all together. And I can't thank Sam Klein enough for putting the imagery together to go along with the sound. So now tonight, I usually give a sermon at this point or tell a story. But on Veterans Day, we typically bring our veterans up on the bima. And we can't do that tonight, obviously. So instead, I created a short video. It's about 12 minutes where they get to speak. And we have about 8 of our veterans speaking. And I apologize, I didn't get more veterans involved. We tried to get as many people as possible. And so my apologies if you aren't part of this. We will announce your name before we do a blessing though. All right, so I'm now going to share my screen. And here we go.
My name is Leonard Schaefer, and I served in the United States Air Force Reserve from 1962 until 1972 and attained the rank of technical sergeant. And my duties were to repair engines on aircraft that supplied the troops in Vietnam.
My name is Neil Friedman. I served during the Vietnam War. I was in from 1963 to 1969. I served in the United States Air Force as an airman 3rd class.
My name is Neil Mitchell. I served in the United States Army from 1963 to 1969. What was unusual in my case is that I joined the United States Army Reserve from California and served in that capacity until 1968, when I was sent to join a unit of the Rhode Island National Guard, the 107th Signal Company, and we were then sent to Vietnam. I came home in August of 1969, and I was a Specialist 4th, which is the equivalent of a corporal.
My name is Alan Levitt. I spent 6 months on active duty in 1962 and 10 years in the Army Reserves, and I left the military as a captain.
My name is Bruce Newman. I served during the Cold War, largely unrecognized period of our history, I might add. From 1959 to 1962 on active duty. I was extended for the Berlin crisis. About the time we thought we were going home, at the pleasure of the president, you've been extended. I was an officer in the Navy. I left the Navy as a lieutenant, and my responsibilities aboard ship, I had sea duty almost immediately. And I took a 22-year-old Jewish kid from California and turned him into the supervisor of 30 variously educated people from all over the country.
Okay, my name is Herbert Jaffe. I was in the Army from 1950 to 1952. I was drafted, and in fact, I was drafted on Rosh Hashanah, and thankfully my mother told me, don't change it. Whatever the Army says, do it. And I went into the Army. And I was fortunate because just on that day, on Rosh Hashanah, they were forming a new division to go over to Germany. So if I hadn't listened to my mother, I might have ended up in Korea and be dead. Anyway, I was in the Army of Occupation in Germany as part of the 4th Division. I was a corporal in the finance department. Surprisingly enough, they put me in something that I was familiar with, and we were stationed in Frankfurt.
Hello, my name is B.J. Deculus. I served in the United States Army from 1964 to 1967. I was assigned to South Korea in the first half of my service, and the second half was done at Fort Rucker, Alabama. The medals and commendation I received was a Good Conduct Medal and the Sharpshooter Medal.
My name's Ira Karnofsky. I'm a Vietnam veteran. I was drafted into the military October 29th, 1968. I left the service June 2nd, 1970. While in the service, well, I was, like I said, a Vietnam veteran. I was military, but assigned to the 101st Airborne, which meant I had to learn how to jump out of airplanes and rappel from helicopters. Oh, what fun that was. As a medic, I did whatever I had to do as a medic. I mean, I was being like a doctor with basically first aid type of training.
I went in as an ambulance driver. That was the job that was open. I'd never had any experience in being an ambulance driver, and nor did I have much training. And my bigger challenge was I couldn't stand the sight of blood. So there was an occasion where I had to go out on a run with an aide, a med tech, they called them. And when we got to the site where we were at, he grabbed his box. He said, "Follow me." And as soon as I got there, I passed out.
I personally saw Pearl Harbor, the Arizona, before the monument went up. It's one of the experiences. I still get goose pimples talking about this. But we were at quarters on the ship that I was on, and we passed in review. And because the Arizona was the senior ship and technically still in commission, everybody stood at quarters and saluted as we went by. So here, it's incredible to this day. And 6 months later on that tour, we're in Nagasaki at Ground Zero, the second target. So that sort of formed my impressions of what we're doing with preparedness and war and what it means to be there.
And the B-52 bombers were always armed with nuclear weapons. We never knew if it was an exercise or it was real. It still has an effect. God, I haven't talked about this for a long time. We didn't know if the bombers and the air tankers that were taking off were off on an exercise, a drill, and they didn't know either until they reached the no return point. If they were called back at that point, they came back to the base. If they weren't, they knew they were on their way to drop their load someplace in the world.
My worldview was just very small. It was based on the place that I was raised. And when I went overseas, it just opened up my view tremendously. To see another people, another culture, in another part of the world showed me that we were all the same and we all have the same degree of success, suffering, family, kids, and whatnot.
Well, I learned that occasionally, and I'm glad it was only occasionally, you have to put your life on the line.
I learned to deal with all kinds of people from all kinds of walks of life. Being in the medical business, profession there, you came across people from every single state, every single walk of life, anything you could possibly think of, and communicating with people turned out to be a very positive feature in my life.
One thing I did while I was on one of my furloughs, I went to where the trial was, where Goering committed suicide, and I spoke to the colonel in charge there, and he was very surprised because this was 1950. And he said already people have forgotten about it. Nobody comes there to see the trial, the courthouse or anything. He took me to see where the Germans were kept, and he took me to the jail, the cell where Goering committed suicide. That was very emotional.
What I learned in the military is you never sass back to a higher ranked officer.
And so I got a lot out of it. And I learned a lot of life lessons while I was on active duty.
I served with pride and I fulfilled an obligation, and I'm very happy I did it. And I'm still proud to say that I was part of the United States Air Force, to the point I have a flag in my yard, and one of the flags below the United States flag is the U.S. Air Force flag.
What it means to me is an honor today to be respected as a veteran. At the time that I was doing the military service, I didn't think that the honor that I'm receiving today would tag along for so many years thereafter. But just the fact that every year that we celebrated Veterans Day, and to be part of that group means a lot to me.
For me, to have been a veteran means I'm a member of a rather exclusive society within the United States.
I get emails from colleagues. I get telephone calls from lots of people. I even got a phone call last week from my banker thanking me for my service, where when I got out of the service, I got nothing.
Sometimes it's a little embarrassing when somebody says, thank you, because it was so long ago and there were so many people who did more than I did.
I will never forget the training that I received and how much I grew in just a span of 3 years.
I grew up. I think I matured. I learned what it was to be with a group of different individuals from different parts of the country, different ethnicities. And it just gave me a bigger perspective on people and life and how to get along with each other.
People, when they find out I'm a veteran around Veterans Day, they say that, thank you for your service.
So now we'd like to take a moment and we'd like to honor our veterans. And I'm hoping Karen Friedman is still on, because I wanted her to jump back and forth on the screen. So, and I don't know if Karen's here or not. If possible, maybe Samantha could help us, because Sam and I want to do a blessing over all the veterans. And I'm sorry, my computer screen, I'm looking for our blessing right now, because we'd like to be able to see these veterans. So Karen, are you here, or can, I believe, well, I see Joe, but not Ira.
I'm here. Karen's here.
Okay, Karen, so you're able to do this for us? So you know who the veterans are. So I'll
do my best.
All right, thank you. So before I have Sam open his mic, and Karen, you should cut your mic, I'd like to mention all the veterans that I know of. We have 3 veterans not in this video: Ralph Stein, Milt Schuffman, and Dan Roman. Thank you all for your service. And then in tonight's video, you saw Neil Friedman, Neil Mitchell, Bruce Newman, BJ Deculus, Herb Jaffe, Len Schaefer, Alan Levitt, and Ira Karnofsky. So we're now going to, well, say a special blessing for the veterans. God of compassion, God of dignity and strength, watch over these veterans of the United States in recognition of their loyal service to our nation.
Bless them with wholeness and love, shelter them, heal their wounds, comfort their hearts, grant them peace.
God of justice and truth, rock of our lives, bless our veterans, these men and women of courage and valor, with a deep and abiding understanding of our profound gratitude.
Protect them and their families from loneliness and want. Grant them lives of joy and bounty. May their dedication and honor be remembered as a blessing from generation to generation.
Blessed are you, protector and redeemer, our shield and our stronghold. And together we should all say, Amen.
Amen.
And now what I'd like to do is to have our veterans blessed with the priestly benediction. I would like, well, whoever you are with to place their hands on you. So I'm looking at Bruce right now, and his wife is going to place her hands on his head, and whoever you're with. Now, if you're a child with a parent, I want you to put your hands on your child's head or whoever is with you. And then if you're neither a veteran nor a child, just grab the person next to you. And if there's no one next to you, then think about the family you love and imagine their presence offering you a blessing. So I am going to say the blessing in Hebrew, and then we are going to hear it sung. And I see that also I left out Peter Strauss, my apologies, also a veteran, and also Noah and Shai, who are veterans of our Israeli military force, the IDF. So now for the priestly benediction. And you guys can put hands on one another if you'd like. Yeah, I'm looking at Noah and Shai right now. You can put hands on top of each other's heads. There you go. Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, ye'er anai panav elecha v'yihuneka, yisa anai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May the light of God always shine upon you and be gracious to you. And may the Spirit found in your heart, may it always protect our community, the Jewish community, and this country. And together we say, Amen. I'm going to mute myself, and Cantor is now going to sing the priestly benediction.
יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונקה. יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום, וישם לך שלום, שלום שלום Shalom.
And now we turn to page 679 for the Star Spangled Banner. So we're all going to rise to do this, but I'm also going to put it into our chat windows. So that way, if you don't have a book and you don't know the words, that is all fine. I'm going to put it in the chat window, and then we're all going to rise. I know that we have some of our kids who made flags. So if you're a kid who has a flag, can you be waving it? And if Karen Friedman sees you waving it, she'll put you on screen. And we also have an American flag sitting behind Shai and Noah. So please rise for the Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
You may all be seated. It's my honor to call forward our board member tonight to speak, Melissa Schenken-Saunders, who does our fundraising and development. We can't survive without her hard efforts. She is now going to take over the screen, I hope, if someone has given her co-host ability. If not, I'm going to sit down and quickly give it to her. You may be seated. Melissa, you are now a co-host.
Oh, great. Hello. Hi, everyone. Wow, what a moving service. First of all, I'd like to thank Rabbi John for this beautiful service, and Cantor, Noah, and Shai. It was really neat seeing you back in the sanctuary tonight. It was really special. And thank you to Sam Klein and Samantha Duenas and all of your students. You guys all did such a good job in your readings and your prayers, and it was just beautiful. And I loved listening to all of you. And finally, I would like to thank all of the veterans that are here today and who were a part of that video, and anyone that served. Tonight was very moving. I usually enjoy on the Veterans Day service listening to you tell us what you did in the service, but listening to your more in-depth stories tonight was really special. I'd also like to thank Pam Marshall and Chris Wilson for sponsoring this week's service in honor of Christopher David Trantham's yahrzeit, and also Suresh Inkin and her family for sponsoring this week's service as well in honor of Harv Shankin's yahrzeit, and that was my dad. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys about some upcoming events, and you can see all of this information in more detail in the emails that you've been getting. And you can get the Zoom links there. So this Sunday is the day that everyone's going to be dropping off their Mitzvah Day projects, and we're going to be collecting anything that you've created. So we gave out over 1,000 mitzvah projects, and people took them home to work on them, and now it's time to bring them back to Temple. So please bring all your completed projects and collections and anything that's still unfinished, and bring that back on Sunday between 11:30 and 1. And for collection lists for things we're collecting for the West Valley Food Pantry, for the LA Family Housing and Sisters on the Street, please log on to our website and look under events/Mitzvah Day. On Monday, there's a Torah study at 11:30. And also on Monday, Rabbi John's teaching his third of 4 classes on defining God at 7 p.m. This class will explore a variety of Jewish interpretations of God, godliness, and holiness. We'll also reflect on our own feelings on interpretations that vary drastically from what we learned when we were kids. Focus texts are from Finding God by Socino and Syme. I hope I said that right, Rabbi. To join the class, please register on our website under Education. Thursday is the first of what we hope to be many parties with a purpose, which are Zoom parties of all kinds of topics. And this first one will be led by Tina Degan, and it's this coming up Thursday at 6:30 on Zoom. And it's a Hanukkah, I said card making party, but I don't think that's what it is. I think it's an album making party. And you'll be joining Tina online to learn how to make her beautiful photo card booklets. So the party fee We'll include all supplies that you need for this class, and all you have to do is supply the photos and a scissor. Make a memorable card for your loved ones this year, and you just sign up on our website under events and parties, and you can get all the details, and look for upcoming events too. We're having a wine tasting coming up, and bourbon tasting with the Rabbi is another one. That'll be fun. Also, okay, join us on November 22nd as the Interfaith Solidarity Network brings the San Fernando Valley faith communities together for their interfaith Thanksgiving service. Just click on the flyer on this week's email to sign up. And you can shop with us on Black Friday from home for a good cause. Our online auction benefiting the education programs at Kol Tikva begins on Friday, November 27th, also known as Black Friday for those of us that like to shop online. And that auction ends on December 6th, which is the day of our Hanukkah event. We'll fundraising event. We'll have a great Hanukkah gift item, so please spread the word and help education, and that's all going to be online. Save the date for Giving Tuesday, which is on Tuesday, December 1st. We've received a generous $5,000 gift match offer that if we receive 200 gifts of any size on Giving Tuesday, that they'll all be matched up to $5,000, which is great. And that's a great way to end everybody's Thanksgiving long weekend. And the last thing is to please save the date for our education fundraiser and Hanukkah drive-through with the toy drive on December 6th. Check out our website for details. It's going to be a really fun event for families. The first half of the day will be an event at Temple, a drive-through event in the parking lot, and the second half of the event will be a Zoom evening event that you can do from your home. Please join us for next week's service, which is our Mystic Quest Shabbat, and you can use the same Zoom link as tonight. And finally, please stay after the service for our virtual oneg. Shabbat Shalom.
Melissa, thank you so much. You bring such life and joy to our announcements, which is not always easy to do. And thank you for all you and your family does for our community. So now we turn to page 598 for the Mourner's Kaddish. We take a moment to think about those who have died recently and those who have died during this season in years past. So on our recently departed list, Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs, remembered by the worldwide Jewish community, a true loss. Carol Levy, remembered by Lynn and Bruce Newman. Phyllis Bogart, remembered by the Freund and Bogart families. Chuck Miller, remembered by the Miller, Baldiviez, and Friedman families. Ronald Simon, remembered by the Simon, Berger, and Karnofsky families. And Richard Haft, remembered by the Haft, Berger, and Karnofsky families. Our thoughts also turn to those who died during this season in years past, who died, well, during this season. Albert Borden, Jean Bua, Louis Cooper, Lillian Diamond, Abraham Furman, Harold Frank, Judy Giverts, Isidore Greenspan, Ann Hoffman, Hilda Michaels, Paul Nussbaum, Barbara Schultz, Harvey Schenken, Isabel Silverman, Sanford Spiro, Christopher David Trentham, Wendy Weinberg, Sharon White, and Nathan Zweig. And added to our memory list, Willis Prudhomme, I hope I'm pronouncing that properly, Eric Rosas, Alan Broussard, and Mike Bluestein. If you are currently in the first 7 days of mourning, Shiva, I'm going to ask you to rise. I'm going to add the name Nancy Schlossberg. If you're in the first 30 days of mourning, I'm going to ask you to rise. If you're in the first year of mourning, I'm going to ask you to rise. If you're observing a yortzeit, please rise. And now I'm going to ask the entire community to please rise in support of all those who mourn. You're going to see in your chat windows that I have added the words of the Kaddish to your chat window. Let's take a moment. Let's imagine, let's picture the person we are here to remember tonight. And if we're not here remembering someone, let's send our strength out to those who mourned. Yit gadal v'yikadash shemei Rabba, be'alma divrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayeh d'chol Beit Yisrael, b'gala v'zman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorak le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shalom Rabba min shmaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the one who makes peace on high grant peace to all who mourn, to all Israel, and to all humankind. And together we say, Amen. You can take a seat. We're going to do our closing song and then do a couple blessings. So please take a moment, take a seat, and I'm going to turn it over to Cantor for the final song.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. ועל כל העולם.
And now it's time for us to lift up our Kiddush cups. So if you have a Kiddush cup, you're going to lift it up nice and high, and we'll spotlight some people with Kiddush cups as Cantor sings a short version. And then we're going to go straight into the Hamotzi because we're running long. So Cantor straight into the Hamotzi. Here we go.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפיים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, המוציא לחם מן הארץ בתיאבון. Shabbat Shalom from Temple called Tikva.
Shabbat Shalom.
And now I'm going to, while holding this beautiful challah, I'm going to unmute everybody. It smells so good and so fresh baked. Let me unmute everyone right now. Yes. Oh, yep. Okay, now I'm going to unmute all.
There we go.
Herb made this by
Ah.
himself.
Saray's talking, yes. Oh, that's okay.
We're all talking.
Herb made a holla.
Herb made a holla.
Is that beautiful?
Hello, Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah.
Wow, Herb.
Just talking to you guys. Shabbat Shalom, kids.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom,
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
Have a good week.
Shabbat shalom.
A good week.
Florence, yay.
All right. Yeah.
It's a bye.
Shabbat Shalom, family.
Her brother's kids are Brooklyn.
I love your hat.
Okay. Dinner.
No.
It's dinner time.
Bye.
Hi, beautiful family. I love you.
Everyone.
Mwah.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Lovely service.
Shabbat Shalom.
Adam, what's with the hat?
Hey, good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night, everyone.
Good job,
Good night.
Shabbat
Shabbat shalom. Good weekend, everyone.
Yes.
Okay, you too. Stay healthy. Oh, I do. I've been staying in my apartment.
How do we get out? That's okay, Vicky. It's smart.
Wait a minute, honey. You want to leave, we can
Someone vacuuming? What's the noise?
Shabbat Shalom, Sam.
My screen isn't working. I only can see the person talking, so I was like, what's that?
You veterans.
No one's vacuuming?
Now vacuuming the kitchen. That's your father-in-law.
Welcome, everyone. Have a good evening. Bye. Bye-bye.
Hi, Karen.
Shabbat shalom. It was good to see you all.
Shabbat Shalom, Karen.
Bye.
Karen, I
Oh,
have a
funny.
question. For December the 6th, do I have to pay $75 for the Hanukkah thing at all?
Oh, the fundraiser? It's a fundraiser. We can talk about it
Okay.
after Shabbat. I'll talk to the
That
people in charge.
sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Good.
I think that there's two Hanukkah things. There's also the Friday night one where there's a big celebration.
Right. That one I know.
You don't have to
That
pay
one
money to do.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Don't think I can do the fundraiser because I don't
So
have.
let me find out about the other one for you.
I don't have any money.
No worries. Let me just look into it for you, and I'll call you this week.
Okay, that sounds good.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Thank you.
You too. Have a nice, safe weekend.
Yes.
Hi, Florence.
Hi.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom to everybody.
All right.
Beautiful service.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it was.
What a great
It's
job
available on Facebook.
finding our students with our veterans.
Yeah, the
And
students did good.
what these incredible people did.
The students did excellently good work.
Right. We needed this.
Mm-hmm.
I think so too. It was really touching.
Very good.
It's good to see the kids getting their religious school.
Yeah.
like that it's still going on, and it's still very effective for them.
The kids did incredible.
What you eating? What you got there, Vicki?
Applesauce.
Oh, applesauce. Looks good.
Yeah,
It's a healthy dessert.
it is. I've been
All right,
eating-
everyone. I'm
I've
going
been putting
to
fruit in my
say
cereal
good night to
and
everyone.
eating fruit for my lunch. So I've been having a healthy lunch.
Good for you.
Shabbat
Good.
shalom,
That's good.
Shabbat shalom.
Everyone have a healthy week. Have a good weekend. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Bye. Shabbat shalom.